It is Game 3 of a 4-game set between the Blue Jays and the Yankees, and the Yankees are looking to Gerrit Cole to help them get off the mat and just flat out outscore their opponents today. Let's see if they could do it. My recap, your reactions, coming up next. This is Yankees Game Night. Bring back the lockout. How's it going, everybody? I think it's time to fire some people. And as bad as it looks, firing people on a first-place team, and it might force you into a further tailspin. But at this point, you have to roll the dice and hope some better personnel can right the ship. This has gone on long enough. As our fans continue to watch this team tailspin, enough is enough. I try not to react hastily on this channel or rant too often, because if you rant after every little thing, it dilutes the impact of your message when something truly needs to be addressed in a somewhat negative way. But today is a day when, you need to do some truth-telling about this team. They are in a full-on free fall. No question about it. This is an historic collapse in progress. We're watching the train go off the tracks in real time, and it's hard to watch. It's hard to watch. This is like when you're driving down the highway. If you've ever seen an accident happen further down the highway, and you can see a car just start to tailspin and lose it, and you know something bad is about to happen, that's what this feels like. Only it's lasted for 6 weeks. For the past couple of years, the Yankees have been trying to take twin-sized solutions and fit them over king-sized problems. And no matter how much you try and make the corners fit, eventually as the season unfolds, those corners keep popping off. That's what it feels like watching this team. It's days like today when you need to truly be able to trust the ace of the staff to be a stopper, to put zeros up and take some pressure off the offense. That didn't happen. You need somebody to step up offensively, too. But I've been hesitant to say this, but I'm not sure if Gerrit Cole is cut out for New York. I mean, the guy gets hit every time he faces a good team. How many excuses can we make for this guy? When are you going to pitch like an ace? You getting paid like an ace? How about 7 innings of one-run ball once in a while? Would that kill you? Whether it's through trades or big contracts, it seems like the Yankees never get what they pay for. And as a fan, it's exhausting, because the costs are passed down to us. Either going to the stadium, $9 hot dogs. I mean, yes, injuries have decimated the offense in a couple of key areas. Stanton was your cleanup hitter. He's been out for a while. Carpenter was Babe Ruth for about 6 weeks. He's gone. But just because those guys are out doesn't mean the season's over. It doesn't make sense that the rest of the offense would falter this badly. Where's Dylan Lawson behind a microphone? Where is Hal Steinbrenner to address how this team has lost 14 out of its last 17 games? Does he care? Does he mind? Is he okay with this? Does he even know about it? With today's lackluster performance, the Yankees have now lost 6 consecutive series. Let that sink in. It's time to back up the truck. This organization is so poorly put together. And because those corners keep popping off, It feels like major changes need to be done, despite the fact that you're in first place. And every single one of us would have signed up for the lead we have right now. But I'll tell you what, I would take a smaller lead if it meant that this team could function as a team. It's exhausting watching these guys. Yankees did get 2 hits from Benintendi and Judge in the first inning, but of course, both runners were stranded because we don't know how to move runners on this team. Aaron Judge made an outstanding catch in the top of the second to take an extra base hit away from Bo Bichette, so there's a positive for you. Bottom 2, Estevan Florial made a nice inside-out swing to pick up an RBI single and give the Yankees their first lead in what seems like forever. Seems like forever. But, you know, as we say,
from there on out, things just got worse.
Also, because Donaldson was out of the third base position today, he was sick. He had a stomach bug. He was on the bench, and Oswaldo Cabrera had to move to third base. He made a really nice defensive play. He was originally going to be in right field. He had to contend with the tarp and the net, ended up face planting into the wall, but stayed in the game. So what a trooper. Garrett Cole was dealing early, no hitter through 4 1/3, but the wheels came off in the top of the 5th. Double, walk, double. After a couple of outs, after one more out, he gave up a 2-run double that made it 4-1. And the entire Yankees team, the entire crowd, the broadcast booth personnel, everyone looked and sounded defeated. Everyone. I probably shouldn't say everyone. There was probably a couple of people in the ballpark that still had some hope. But rounded off, everyone knew the game was over at that point. Cole was done after 6, 5 hits, 4 runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. Gleyber Torres with a solo home run to right field in the bottom of the 8th. That cut the lead to 4-2. Matt Chapman answered right back for the Blue Jays with a solo home run to Monument Park to make it 5-2 in the 9th. And look, Albert Abreu sucks. I'm sorry. That's why he gets DFA'd every 15 minutes. And I have a feeling it's going to happen again. Doesn't matter how hard you throw if your breaking ball doesn't break. And you throw it down the middle. Pitching 101. Blue Jays hang on, and they win the series. Now, I know I saw a couple of Super Donos come through, so I'm going to go ahead and get to those first. Lori C says, is this weekend at Bernie's or Groundhog Day? It's a nightmare. It's Nightmare on 161st and River Avenue is what it is. Junior Karoma says, regardless of this terrible slump, I sure as hell enjoyed the kids. Look, you got to appreciate what the kids did. Base hit and an RBI from Estevan Florial. Even though, look, if we're being honest, you can see why now the Yankees haven't called him up. He looks overmatched against changeups, breaking balls of any kind. But Oswaldo Cabrera, despite taking an offer, made a nice play. He's looked really exciting over the last few days. But the rest of the team has fallen apart. Scotto says, I'm glad there's more games coming up on Amazon Prime so I don't have to watch. Ouch. Rob Smith says, greatest collapse in baseball history. The Yankees are going to own the top 2. They're going to own the top 2 worst collapses, 2004 and this season. Link says, Cole went 6 innings, gave up 4. Okay, I didn't update my my stats here. 4 earned runs. You're right. Updated. Appreciate that. Going to give you... I was so ticked off by this performance and focused on what I wanted to say that I forgot to update Garrett Cole's line. Maria M. Haven't seen you in a while, Maria. You used to post all the time last year, but welcome back. Says, Abreu should have been sent down, and also Florial. Well, I think they're going to give Florial a chance. I mean, he's proven he can do it in AAA. They're going to play him for a couple of weeks until Bader comes back. And at the very least, you find out how good he is or how bad he is. And then you know what you're going to do with him this winter. I think there's a strong possibility that he gets moved as part of a package this winter. They've already said that Harrison Bader is going to be their starting center fielder next year. Still have Aaron Hicks under contract for a while. Although I think it's interesting that Aaron Hicks isn't playing. He's just kind of, I guess he's on an emotional walkabout. He's just nowhere to be found right now. Gary Wanamaker says, after the Mets series, I think Hal makes changes. After the Mets win 2 in a row at the home ballpark, you say? I mean, we're facing DeGrom and Scherzer. Does anyone think that this offense can do anything against those guys? Now, stranger things have happened, and that's why they say you can't predict baseball, Susan, because occasionally a team that's scuffling will face off against a great pitcher and come through, but I wouldn't count on it. Orlando Rodriguez says, the more the Yankees lose, the more they bring in larger crowds. Is this bizarro world? What you're seeing is people who bought tickets when they were 49 and 16 and thinking, I've got to see Aaron Judge chase this home run race. That's what you're seeing. But unfortunately, instead, they're seeing a team that's given up and lost. Evil Magnitude says, if they don't somehow win a World Series this year, this needs to be the end of the Cashman era.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Micah XS says, New York Stankies baseball, folks. That's, usually I would be like, get out of here with that moniker, but it is what it is. Frankie Baseball says, this team has accelerated my midlife crisis. Frankie, you're still, 23, 24 years old? I am so gray in this beard right now. You can't tell right now, but I didn't have any gray hairs until about maybe a couple of months ago. And now it's coming in full bloom. Sam Chrisley says Marinaccio sent down to keep Abreu on the roster. Just another awful organizational decision. Fortunately, Marinaccio is back, unless you're saying that just happened now. Ronnie says, I said this was a 4th place team back in March, and they showed up 5 months late. Appreciate it. Braden says the Monty trade was so stupid. I gotta say, the Monty trade just threw me for a loop. I'll tell you my trade deadline story, okay? As a content creator, you kind of got to stay on the ready, right? So I spent that entire day making highlight reels with Yankees logos and stuff like that for different players that were getting mentioned. And I was closing in on a video for Pablo Lopez. I had the trade screen all built out. I had Pablo's name in there. I had Pablo in a Yankee hat. Paid somebody to do that. I had, all the highlights put together. And I was totally prepared to have an instant live stream like, yeah, we got Pablo Lopez. And then I hear the news. The Yankees have made a trade. And I'm thinking, here we go, baby, getting ready to go live. And they say the Yankees have traded Jordan Montgomery to the St. Louis Cardinals for Harrison Bader. And my first question was, who? Apparently he won a Gold Glove in the National League in center field last year. But I don't follow the National League that closely. If it's not the Yankees, I just don't follow it with the same level of enthusiasm. I mean, I'll watch the highlights now and then. I'll watch a game if it's, the Yankees are off and there's a game on TV. But I honestly didn't know who Harrison Bader was. So I had to look him up and kind of throw something together. And I was just disheartened to find out that he was going to be out for the next several weeks. And to me, it just, the trade deadline is a time to help your team and inject some life. And it felt like instead of injecting some life, it was a total shock. And since then, the Yankees have been awful. Honestly, if they hadn't made that move, I don't know if the team would be struggling this badly, because it seems to have affected the clubhouse. The clubhouse has not been the same since. Marco SC9 says, we're witnessing a collapse that could be worse than the 2007 Mets. Carlos Balladera says, can we call Theo Epstein? I'm 100% on board with that. Chris Mack says, let's go Baltimore. They're playing pretty well. Fans of all types are here, or fans of all teams are welcome here. Just don't be a dick about it. Not so family fun vision. Always taking the devil's advocate. Says Abreu has an ERA of 131 plus. A 131 ERA plus and a 2.46 fielding independent pitching with the Yankees. He's been great. But who's he pitched against? Come on. Put it into perspective. Use your eyes. Put the spreadsheets away and use your eyes and watch the game. The guy throws pitches down the middle. Against good hitters, he's going to get hit. Albert Abreu sucks ass, full stop. Full stop. Kurt Boneschan says, this is the last afternoon that I waste on the New York Yankees. And he's getting at something that I think that we all need to get at, which is, unfortunate because a lot of people already bought tickets, like we said. And you can't refund the tickets usually. But we need to stop supporting this team with our dollars until they make some changes. It's too late this season because they've sold all these tickets. But this winter, maybe don't turn on the Yes Network. Maybe don't watch Center Stage. No offense to Mike, okay? Maybe take a break from them once in a while and vote with your feet. Go to the movies instead of watching the ball game one of these nights. I'm going to watch them all because I'm a Yankees content creator and I've maybe missed a half a dozen games since the early 90s. And the ones that I've missed, I've gone back and watched on tape or listened to. My life revolves around the Yankees. And it pains me to watch this happen in real time. But if your life doesn't revolve around the Yankees like I do, and you just want to send a message that this is unacceptable, and because I have this platform, I'm going to use it to say what I feel, I think if you're unhappy with the way the Yankees are playing, take Sunday off. Take a mental health day. Go to the beach. It's beautiful right now. Take a day for yourself. Spend a day with the family. This team is, like we said, trying to fit a twin-size solution on a king-size problem. Years and years. Still, the Donaldson and IKF deal in the beginning of the season is a head-scratcher. Why do you take on Donaldson? I know he hit a game-winning grand slam earlier this season. But we needed youth. And if you're going to have $20+ million invested in somebody, why not get somebody who's a little closer to their prime? Joe Mann says Yankees will be packed tomorrow for Paul O'Neill Day. All right, well, watch the Paul O'Neill ceremony because, he deserves it. Luis R. says nothing will change until Hal is gone. Frankie says, I'm glad we got rid of Gary. Me too.
I wholeheartedly agree.
Sayonara, Gary. Yeah, Mike says, don't ruin 21 Day. Apologies. And I know a lot of people are going to the Mets games, but at some point, find a way to vote with your feet if this team doesn't improve. That's how you create change. We can sit and rant all day. I'm sure that John Boy's going to rant tomorrow. I'm sure that Dan Rourke is going to rant. The guys at NYY News, Frankie Baseball, all these content creators are going to rant. But it does nothing. It does nothing to help the team. It's just a group therapy session. The only way to create change with the team is to vote with your dollars. That's what needs to be done. Sam Chrisley says, ready for Boone post-game meltdown. And Christian Mazgalov says, maybe he still hates Gallo. Maybe we could trade him again. Anthony Pupo says 3-14 in the last 17 games. You hate to see it. You hate to see it. Will Ian Rojas says, I hate Cole. Hate's a strong word, but it's time for this guy to pitch like his paycheck. It's time to, carry this team a little bit. Put up some zeros. Chris Mack, not a fan of Benintendi. I actually think Benintendi's been okay. He's got some doubles. He's going through that adjustment period that all Yankees do. He's striking out a bit more than we hoped. But his defense has not been as spectacular as we thought it would be. He's been okay, but he seems to have trouble going back and glove side, like towards the line. Ran into that again today. Doesn't have much of an arm. He's been way more aggressive at the plate than I thought. I mean, this is a guy who generally I thought worked the count, but I see him swing at the first pitch out of the zone a lot, giving me IKF vibes. Frankie Baseball says, wouldn't be an NYY recap stream without a hate Gallo comment. Unfortunately, you're right. Gaming Kid Joe says, let's see if Babe Ruth wants to play again. He's dead.
It doesn't work that way.
One Talleyrand says, this is like a bad dream that won't stop.
Oh, yes. I hate this. It is
And Mike
revolting.
Rotunda says, we needed an ace today, and he didn't show up. We needed it. We needed him to step up, but the offense has got to get better too. This is not 100% on Garrett Cole. Bravo Willie says, I've been feeling like Cortez was the ace since mid-May. Well, I mean, he had an outstanding first half. Obviously, he's got better numbers than Garrett Cole in terms of ERA. But, he's never pitched that deep into a season before. I have a feeling that he's only going to get worse from here on out. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I love Cortez. It's just science. It's biology, bro. His arm's going to get tired. He hasn't thrown this much. Keith Khalif says, I can't the Yankees anymore. Always proofread carefully to see if you any words out.
Absolutely, hey.
Mike to AC Merch says, Cole getting tired, arm, closing in on 200 strikeouts. Strikeouts don't matter when you're giving up doubles. Stone Cold says, the way the pitching is now makes me miss Tanaka. Tanaka was super reliable. Joe Giamarino says, we needed an ace and we got an ass. Outstanding. Outstanding. And I'm just going to take a couple more. Demetrius says, only the Tigers are worse. Wow. Rah-rahs, bringing up memories of the 78 Red Sox. They dropped a 14-game division lead. Oh, the Yankees are going to definitely drop this lead. Derek Q says, can you play the Aaron Boone post-game presser? I cannot, because it's copyrighted. You can't play for more than 8 seconds. So if I get to it, maybe I'll include it in one of my next videos as like, if it's good, we'll cut some of it out and take the gems. Effie Bev says, Groundhog Day all over again. Appreciate the dono. Shane Z says we need a Bull Durham type rainout. Yeah, somebody turn on the sprinklers. Stone Cold says he doesn't watch the games lately. Don't blame you, but been watching NYY recaps. Yes, continue to vote with your feet in this direction. Appreciate that. Dad is Not a Noun podcast says something happened in the locker room. I wholeheartedly agree. I think something had to have happened. Alan says Cole needs brain surgery. I just don't know if Cole's got the guts to pitch in New York, and it pains me to say that. Every time we need a big start out of this guy, he comes up lame. Frankie says Boone went nuts. I didn't see it. I'm going to have to check that out. Fizzwis says, why don't we call up a ton of prospect? Oswald Cabrera looks like our best player, at least on defense. And with his energy, if we get other people a chance, Maybe they will start up with the Yankees again. Appreciate the dono. Nice dono. I really think that Oswald Peraza could be the next chess piece. And Mike to AC Merch getting the last word says, we need a big win for Paulie tomorrow.
Absolutely. Hey.
All right, guys, we're going to call it a night. Obviously, this was a tough one. I appreciate everybody who stopped by. Sorry if, sometimes when I go on these rants, not everything makes a lot of sense because I'm speaking from the gut and I'm just venting. This is my therapy as much as it is therapy for you guys. And somebody said last night that she treats this like therapy. So shout out to everybody for making this a great community. And win or lose, we're going to support this team. But we also have to speak truth to power. This team is not living up to expectations. They stuck a Band-Aid over a geyser this winter. And they tried to coach everyone up instead of getting better players. But look, it is what it is. There's a long way to go. And every once in a while, something big can turn things around. You know, one big moment can turn it all around. And every day is a new opportunity to do that. So keep your heads up, Yankee fans. And I'll see you next time.